All right, today, guys, I just wanted to go over something that I had talked about kind of in my last three videos. Um, basically, about the three types of people that are on the earth. Um, the Bible itself talks about how there's three different types of people on the earth. It talks about the godly people, those people who know the Lord. Um, they have found the Lord. They know the Lord, and they worship the Lord. They owe their souls to the Lord. They give their lives to the Lord. They forfeit their, how do I put it? They they forfeit themselves to the Lord, and in return, the Lord gives them life, true life through Christ. They don't any longer want to be their own master. They want God to be their master. And like the Bible says, a person cannot serve two masters because they will love one and they will hate the other. So that's just a fact. So if you're serving yourself, and if you are your own master, then you would hate God. You wouldn't want God to be your master. And that's the case for so many people out there. Some of them who do it unknowingly, and many of them who do it knowingly. But then it talks about the godless. Okay, that's the second type of person out there. Now, the godless people, they don't know a God. They don't know a God. They don't have a God. Those would be considered, in today's modern terms, would be like the you could call them atheists, or you could just call them undecided people, which I believe personally, because of the times that we're living in, those people are becoming less and less prevalent. In fact, there are less and less of those kind of people on the earth at this time because most people are choosing to serve something, and to worship it as their God. Now, the middle people that the Bible talks about, though, the godless people, those people still have the opportunity to be saved by God. They have the opportunity to come to the Lord. Maybe they're confused. Maybe they're just lost. Maybe they just don't know the answers to everything. Maybe they just don't want to expend the power, the energy to try and find out those answers. So they're kind of, in a way, you could argue they're being a little lazy or whatever it is. I know that before I got saved, I was one of those godless people who didn't know and hadn't made a choice yet, and didn't really know that much about God and about the truth, and who didn't care to know. Too busy trying to serve my own flesh, my own pleasures, my own desires. And that's what made me in the middle category, like I said in my other videos, until I turned about 19 years old, and that's when I chose the Lord. Now, the Bible talks about a third type of people that are on the earth. This third type of people ties into what I was talking about in my last four videos about the dimension of sin. The third group of people that the Bible talks about is the ensnarers. Ensnarers. So that's another word for trappers. Trappers of men, trappers of women, trappers of spirits, trappers of souls, trappers who are knowingly trapping people, ensnaring people, deceiving people. That's the third type of person that exists on the earth. And there are an enormous amount of those people on the earth. There are an enormous amount. I don't know the exact amount. I wouldn't be able to say what the exact numbers are, but I know that they definitely do outnumber Christians. They outnumber Christians, and they also outnumber the godless, the middle people, the ones who haven't decided yet. So it's unfortunate, but they do have the majority on this earth. The ensnarers, the trappers, the people who know exactly what they're doing and why they're doing it. They know. They've already made a choice, whether it be a long time ago or whether it be fairly recently, whatever the case, they've made a choice. They made a choice to serve evil, to serve evil. And they do worship other gods, other deities. They do. They they worship many different kinds, and sometimes more than one at one time. Sometimes hundreds of deities they worship. Sometimes just one, or sometimes Satan, Lucifer. Sometimes it can be the old demons of the ancients. They still worship them. A mixed bag. Some new deities that have only been worshipped in modern times. But the point is, these ensnarers are all over the planet, and they're trying to trap not just the Christians, but especially the unknowns, the undecided. I mean, the godless, the people in the middle. They're trying to get them the most because they want them over on their side, or they want them dead. They want them to be gone, because those are the easiest to take out, because those are the ones that don't really know the truth. And like the Bible says, my people perish for lack of knowledge. So if they don't have that knowledge, they can die relatively quickly because of it. So we'll get into that a little bit more in the next video that I want to make. But those are basically the three types of people on this earth. So, and there really are only those three types of people on the earth. When you think about it, the Bible nails it. And that's, by the way, that's from Job. That scripture is from Job that describes the three types of people. So the real question is, which type of person do you want to be? Which type of person do you want to be? Because you are going to have to make a decision of one of those three. So the choice is yours. And that's something that no person should take lightly, because it is what this entire experience on this earth is all about. This is life or death we're talking about. This is no joke. It's either life or death. You either worship life and love life, or you worship death and you love death. But there really is no middle ground for too long. Not for too long. Eventually you're going to make your decision. Eventually you're going to have to decide one way or the other. I know people who have decided both ways. I know people who have decided they love life, and I know people who have decided they love death. Unfortunately, I mean, this earth, that's just the way it is. Some of your friends that you know, some of your girls that you've dated, things like that, or for girls, same thing. People they just chose darkness at a certain point in their life. They just chose death. Nobody really knows why except for them. But they made that choice, and they got to live with it. Now, on the very rare occasion, some of those people who go down the dark road of death, who choose death purposely, and who choose evil purposely and want to serve it, some of those people, a very small minority, it doesn't happen very often. We're talking about extremely rare, like finding a needle in a haystack. Yeah, that's a good way to put it. But occasionally, some of those people will actually turn to good and never go back to evil again. It very rarely ever happens, though. I mean, we all know that. We know those who understand that know what I'm talking about. It is more rare than just about anything you can think of, actually. It doesn't happen very often. Most people that choose evil, they die that way. Most people that want evil get consumed by it, and they die that way. And that's how they exist on this earth until they're gone. But very rarely, but it does happen. Those who worship Satan, worship evil, worship other deities, worship darkness, worship this and that, and who perform dark deeds on purpose, usually in secret most of the time, like the Bible says. But very rarely those people will come to the Lord. But they sometimes do. So that's not to say we should count out anyone. Like the Bible says, love your neighbor as yourself. But remember, these people that are ensnarers, they want those other two groups, those other two kinds of people, they want them dead. Or they want them serving them, serving their side. So they're not playing nice, let's put it that way. They are capable and willing to do the worst things possible that a person can imagine to other people. And that's something that all Christians and the undecided in the middle need to remember about the ensnarers that the Bible talks about. So when the Bible says love your neighbor as yourself, just remember there are certain people that you can only love from a distance. Okay, in other words, you cannot be around those people because those people will basically try to have you killed, like try to either have you killed or kill you themselves, or get you tied up into all kinds of horrible situations. So even though the Bible says love your neighbor as yourself, that's absolutely 100% true. That's what we're supposed to do. But you can do that from a distance. And in many cases, you have to. With many people, if not, like I said, since they have the majority, if not most people, you have to love them from a distance. There are people you can hang out with and trust that they won't try to hurt you or you can be confident about that. Let's put it that way. Never put your trust in anything except for God. But there are people that you can hang out with, be friends with, go places with, and they won't betray you because they value you. Because they value you for who you are, not for any other reason than that, but just for who you are. They value you, and those people you should always keep. Those people you should always keep around in your life. Anytime you meet somebody like that, cherish that person. But just remember, many people you can only love from a distance to be safe, for both your safety and for their safety. That's just the way it is. So anyway, I'm going to leave it at that for now. Planning on making another video, probably maybe one more video after this one for today.